Hey everybody, welcome back to another 3D CAD video. This is Carter, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to create the number 7 multi-view assignment. So we're almost finished with these. We just have number 7 and number 9 left. And this one's a little bit tricky. It's not exactly clear what shape this is when you first look at it, but we're going to do a breakdown and a color analysis of this, and then I'm going to show you how to model it. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to start with this surface right here. Now, from the front, this surface is um, vertical, and the reason we know that is because if we look at the top view, we can see that this is just a line right here, and this line lines up with the edges of our shape. So this red surface is just the line running diagonally right there. And then if we rotate this from the side, you'll notice that if we look at it from the right side view, we're actually able to see a portion of the same surface from the right side. We look at it like this, which means that this surface right here is also the red surface. So it's this slanted surface that you can see from both the front and the right side. All right, that's the red surface. Let's go to the green surface. I'm going to choose this surface right here because this one's pretty easy. It's just the top and it's just an edge on both the right and the front side view. So that's that. All right, blue surface. Once again, I'm just going to do this one because this one is also just an edge. If we were to look at this, if this is since this is the right side, right? So we have our front view, and then this is the right side. This blue surface is right here. Okay, and it's also this surface right here. Okay, so that is also an easy one. I'm going to go to yellow next, and this one's a bit tricky. So I'm going to select this surface right here. Oops, let's try that again. There we go. Now, this yellow surface is a bit hard to visualize, but it's actually this surface right here and this surface right here. All three of these are the yellow surface. Now this is a slanted uh, and kind of an angled surface. So kind of think of this as like a ramp, and uh, this this edge right here is the low end, and this is the highest point right here, and it slopes down in both directions like this. Okay, so if you think of it like that, then you can see how it would be visible from the front. So once again, our vertex, our high point is right here. It slopes down like this to the low edge. And from the right side, our high point right here, and it slopes down to a low edge. Okay, so all of that is the yellow surface. And then I'll make an orange surface. And this right here is kind of the backdrop to um, what's left of this kind of L shape right here. So this L shape, you can think of this as kind of like a backstop. And right, so this top is the green right here. We have the yellow, which is kind of a ramp that fits in the corner. And then this right here is this edge right here. And you can see that that lines up with the triangle like this. So this edge lines up with this edge, and this edge lines up with the end of this edge that runs like this. Okay? And then I need one more color. Let's do this color. And that is going to be this remaining surface, which is pretty much the same thing, just on the other side. So that would be right here. So when you're looking at it from the right side, remember that the yellow slopes down like this, and it kind of reveals this edge which is kind of the base of this green L. Okay, so hopefully that makes a bit more sense. You'll be able to visualize it a lot better once we get started with the modeling. Alright, so I've gone ahead and created a multi-view exercise number 7 file. And to model a piece like this, if you're not 100% sure what the completed figure looks like, start with what you do know and make cuts that you do know. And as you make those cuts, it will become more and more obvious what the shape looks like. So I have a general idea that it's going to be from the front plane some sort of rectangular-ish shape, which is going to be 6 by 4. So that's what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to extrude from the front surface, and I'm going to make a center rectangle, 6 by 4. And we're just going to start with that. It doesn't matter if it's sloped. We can fix that later. Right now, we just want to get the basics out of the way. So this block that I'm creating is a 6 by 4 rectangle. So this is the 6. The 4 is kind of the height that you can't see right now, like this. So this is kind of the rectangle we created. And then we are extruding it in this direction, a distance of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll make that 4. Right, and that is the beginning of our shape. So, as you may have noticed, the front rectangle that we made is not actually flat, it's actually slanted. So that when we look at it from the top, we should see kind of a line going from here to here and then no material right here. So that's a good indication that we need to extrude from the top and remove all that material. So I know that nothing can exist in this area right here. So I can make a cut and remove all that material without worrying about it not being correct for any other shapes. So I'll just do a line chain and make a triangle. Notice that it goes all the way to the corner and then 1 unit from the top right corner. So they give us an angle. I'm just going to use dimension to give this a distance of 3. You could also dimension from here to here and give that a distance of 1. It's the same thing. And we'll just remove all that material. Okay. Now comes the tricky part. We need to figure out how we're going to make this cut, this yellow cut. So hopefully you were able to visualize a little bit of what it might look like. If not, all you really need to recognize is that this is some sort of sloped surface and it's got 3 points, right? So we have 1, 2, 3 points on all 3 views. So it's some sort of triangle. So a good idea would be to put down some points. So I'm actually going to use this button right here to put down 3 points. And I want each of those points to be at one of these vertices. So the first one I'm going to do is right here, which is 2 from the top, and then on this edge right here. So 2 from the top, and well, first I have to select a point. So select point is going to bring up datum plane, and then I'm going to select the edge, and it's going to tell me 0.57. And that 0.57 represents how far from this little diamond it is, with 1 being completely on the opposite end, the length of the edge, 0.5 being exactly in the middle, and 0 being all the way at the bottom. So think of it like a percentage, 100%, 50%, 0%. So if we look at our figure, we can see that it's at the halfway mark, which is of course 50%. So I'm going to select 0.5. Right, so my next point is going to be this point right here. which is, as we can see on the top plane, it's level with this green surface right here, which is going to eventually be the surface that runs like this once we remove this center material right here. So I'm going to put a point on the top plane like this. And you can see I've got these little two bracket things which I can drag around. And if I actually drag these, I can highlight an edge and it will give me the distance from that. So that's just a handy way of telling me which sides I can measure from. So I could have done something like this, and it would have given me the distance from this edge right here. It's just more convenient for me to measure from the closest edge, so I'll just measure from these two edges right here. And if we go back to our top view, you can see that it's just 1 unit in each direction. Okay, so let's do 1 unit here and 1 unit here. And I just want to clarify that this 1 is different than the 0.51 for this, because this is on an edge. And when it's on an edge, there's only one dimension. It's how far away from this point am I? There's no left, right, there's only up and down. But when I'm on a surface, when I'm on a plane, then there's 2 dimensions. I can have it left, right, but I can also have it up and down. So since there's 2 dimensions, I need actual dimensions. So this 1 is actually 1 unit, whereas a 1 here on this edge would just represent the furthest distance I can get from this point right here. Okay, so now we need to put down our third point, and our third point is going to be 2 from the top and 1 from the left. Okay, it's also going to be 3.5 from the back, depending on which dimension it gives us. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. So it's going to be somewhere along this surface right here. So I'll click there, and you can see that it gives me some options as to where I want to put these. Now I don't want to measure from here because you'll notice I don't know what this distance is. Okay, it's not 1, right? Because this is a triangle I'm making. This is a distance of 1. This is a distance of 1/2. And I could use some math to figure out what this distance is, but it's just easier for me to use distances that are already given in the figure. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll try and drag this one here, and it gives me the distance from the top, which is okay. And then I'll measure from the back. So these are my 2 dimensions. And since it's locked onto the plane, then I don't have to worry about it not being on this surface right here. So from the top, it's just 2, because it's equal distance from the top and the bottom. And from the back, we said it was going to be 3.5. And you can see how it updated the position left and right as well when I did that. If I undo it, you can see that it moved it a little bit to the left because it had to stay on this surface right here. Okay, so we said it was 3.5 from the back, and we got that by looking at this point right here, and then this back edge, and seeing that this was a distance of 1, 2, 3.5. Okay, so now we have 3 points, and these are the 3 vertices of our triangle. Now, I'm going to extrude on the top surface, and I'm going to make just a basic triangle from point to point. Let's fix that. I kind of missed it there. There we go. And I'm just going to click all 3 points, and that makes a triangle like this. And then I'm going to extrude down to this triangle, which of course is a distance of 2. So I've cut away everything, and now what I want to do is I want to use these points again to add back a slanted ramp. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to select a plane, and for every plane, you have to have 3 points to define it, at least 3. So I'm going to hold down Control, select here, left click once there, left click once here, and left click once here. And you can see that it highlights all of them in green, and I'm holding down Control as I click these. And you can see that they pop up here, 1, 2, and 3. And then I click OK. And this is going to give me a new plane. And from this plane, I'm going to again extrude and then draw my triangle from point to point to point. And now hopefully you can see the shape that I've created. It's sort of filling in everything that is fits inside of this kind of wonky pyramid shape. So if I click OK, you can see it wants to extrude out this way. We'll just drag it back in. Don't do it too far, otherwise it'll stick out the back. Make sure that it's not sticking out the back anywhere, and then click OK. And hopefully now if I turn off all of my planes, you can see that shape I was telling you about. So it's kind of a ramp, and we have our high vertex here, and then it slopes down in both directions. So let's go ahead and double check this with our views. Let's check the front view. You can see we have this shape in red, and then our 2 triangles in yellow and orange. The red, and then our 2 triangles. So that's correct. We'll check the top view. It's this L shape with the tip of the L kind of slanted, and then this triangle. And that's the green and the yellow. And then finally our right side view, which is a red surface right here, this red surface, followed by the blue and the 2 triangles, the blue and the 2 triangles. So we have our shape. Control D to reorient. Don't forget to save your work, and we're done.